Trish is the founder and CEO of HealAthon, a platform that aims to level up global collective consciousness by dissolving barriers with unity through healing and transformation of the mind, body, and spirit. She is a Theta and Reiki healer and also has completed her MBA. Let's move on to an engaging one-on-one session with Trish Kane and Shilpa Karkeraa and learn more about her entrepreneurial journey in healing the world.
Pleasure to have with us Trish Kane, CEO of HealAthon. Thank you for joining us, Trish. We are honored to have you at Survivor Stories, celebrating stories of inspiration and innovation. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. And my team has written some exciting questions to know about your initiatives. And I think we are ready for those questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready, sister. Let's do this.
Perfect. So you've been a survivor yourself and have championed triathlons, CrossFit competitions. You've come through a journey. We would love to know your survivor story.
Thank you so much for asking me that. In 2014, I was found non-responsive by paramedics. My body temperature was 86 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius, and I was resuscitated twice and brought back to life. Then rushed to the hospital. They basically told my mom and dad and my family, if she makes it, she's definitely going to be brain dead. And I laid in a 9-day coma on life support, fighting for my life. And when I woke up, they took the tube out of my throat because I was on the ventilator. And the doctor was like, "Do you know where you are?" And I looked around and I was like, "Hospital." He was like, "Oh!" And I was like, what is going on in my head, And I found out later on that after going to the MRI machine, I had 2 strokes actually. And I learned how to walk again, talk again, everything. I had all my organs basically died, like all my organs, and they came back online, which is a miracle in itself. But yeah, I basically was a disaster. This whole side of my face didn't move. This side of my face was droopy. This eye didn't move back and forth. They held me up with belts and were like, "This is your right leg, your left leg," and slowly but surely showed me how to walk again, taught me how to feed myself again. I remember trying to pick up food and going like this, trying to find my mouth. My poor mother, because I was 29 years old at the time. This was almost 8.5 years ago. And it's like, to see her daughter like this, my father was there, and to see me like this, and what a disaster, really. But how dark it is before dawn, because after that, basically also the doctor said to me, "I have no idea how you're here right now, let alone speaking to me. You have angels." And that really made me well aware that I was loved. First of all, I hadn't felt love in a very long time. I was in a very dark place prior to that. And also I felt like I had a purpose to be here. And there's no better feeling than that, because I think all of us are always searching for a purpose. And it was so good to know I have a purpose, because you don't come back from that. Like, I don't know a lot of people that have come back from that. And this is kind of a long story, so I'll keep it short. But I also went to the other side, if you want to call it that, like the tunnel and the whole bit when I had basically, I want to say died, because that's what happened, because I was resuscitated twice. And so basically, I had a will to live, but also it's been a long journey and a fight. And yeah, it's like 8.5 years is a long time, This, like, where I'm at today is where I always wanted to be my whole life, the freedom to be able to go around being myself. And I think the biggest part of if you want to call it my survival story and my survivor story is the freedom to be myself. That's what I always wanted, but society and culture kind of is like, and people are like, act like this, do this. When you show up here, you act like this. If you meet with this person, this is how you show up. And like, I always was trying to be everything that I thought that I was supposed to be instead of just being myself, and I think that that is the best feeling that I could possibly have, is showing up as myself. I've accomplished, like you said, CrossFit competitions, Spartan races, like triathlon, a lot of stuff over the years. I also got an MBA. The girl that couldn't complete a sentence graduated her master's degree 3 years after that happened. Was it 3 years? Yeah, 3 years after that happened, I got an MBA, graduated. And it's like, all these things that I was doing, I kind of was trying to prove a point that anything is possible, because if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I just hope that I can inspire people to follow their dreams and to pursue their passions, because there's a reason that they have them. We don't just have these dreams or these ideas for no reason. We all have our own dreams for a reason. And I think society sometimes will push us away from those dreams, but we could do anything, really.
True. I think that's the fighting spirit, and the value of purpose, having purpose in the life, is something that I think I take from this as well, because fighting spirit takes you a long way, and you mentioned the long journey that you've been through, and so beautifully. We are so happy to have you here and see this beautiful outcome of it. That is the way you're giving back as well, through your life experiences, through your work as well in HealAthon. And I think that's the beauty, that I think it's a gift that you're sharing with everyone in terms of having that purpose and contributing to that purpose as well. So really nice to know.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you. Yeah, that's so nice. Yeah, and also like it's kind of like to disrupt things, I want to disrupt things, but with love, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like corruption. We've talked about it previous to this, but with like different factors, and I think we're gonna talk more about that. But to do with love, though, yeah.
That's true. Like the right way, the right, I think fundamentals along with it. And that comes to my next question, that how do you see, like, what's lacking, or an area that the conventional health practices are missing out from a very consumer point of view? And how do you see that shaping ahead?
Yeah, so I think the consumer point of view is the problem. I think that things are always like, when you do A plus B, C is the tangible result, but that's not the case, right? Like, I think medical practices and just healing in general is missing the energy piece behind it, the mentality behind it. A lot of us get sick because of what's in our minds. Our minds create a lot, whether it's a tangible sickness that we have, or a mental sickness, a physical sickness. Our outer reality is really a reflection of our inner views and our inner feelings. And when you start to realize that, and you get rid of limiting beliefs and the conceived notions, things change. Things start to change. When we change our mind, we truly change our life. And it sounds so cliche, but there's so many different healing modalities and healers out there, whether it's Reiki, or obviously I love chiropractics, acupuncture, and it's like, you go to a chiropractor, even for example, you'll never get the same experience. They're all different. A lot of them use energy work, and yeah, like also a lot of society knows about meditation and mindfulness, and those are great practices. But there's also thousands or millions of different types of meditation and breath work and mindfulness practices that you could go on and on and on. And I think it really comes down to who you're around and who you're exposed to. And there's a huge lack of information around that because the government and big pharma and I said it.
Yeah.
The government and big pharma and corporations aren't making money if you're going and meditating or making mindfulness practices, or if you're not staying sick, and it's sad. But how do we change that with love? So it's important for it's probably the oldest expression in the book. You are who you hang out with. Look at the three people closest to you. That's you. If you want to change, go change your group. But it's true, even as like feminine, the divine feminine, we sync up our moons with the women around us. It's like we're all connected. We're all interconnected. So if we change ourselves, we change the whole world. And I think people like don't realize that, but it's so powerful. If we just change ourselves and better ourselves because we are so connected, it really does change everything around us. And to keep elevating higher and leveling up is so important. And it's osmosis, and I think that that's the secret. Oh, the secret. I didn't even mean to say that. But there's a book and a movie about the secret. And that's what's being hidden from us is the unstoppableness that is really possible when we do get rid of limiting beliefs and we start focusing on ourselves and bettering ourselves and healing and elevating our lives. We change everything around us and in us, and it's amazing. Yeah.
That's true. That's beautiful as well, because what I gather from this is the energy, because the energy is what, drives
Yeah.
the actions as well. And the energy comes from, the surrounding and from yourself. But I think to recharge and then propagate that energy out is a continuous process. Now, I think having the right peers, right people around, as you rightly said, is quite a crucial role. And that is why I think building communities now has become even more active. It's been there from ages, but now the digital age is also conscious about, building proper communities. And that brings to another question, that how do you see communities engaging in these cutting edge technologies, because, on one side, there are communities that are trying to engage, talk with each other. And then there's overwhelming gamut of technologies that's quite overwhelming for the consumers on one side. So how do you see communities engaging in technologies like Web3, Metaverse, like how do you see that shaping up?
Yeah, so our human nature has like three different components to it, and one of them is socialization, right? So, like, is our natural instincts, the breakdown of our natural instincts, right? So it's so important for us to be able to have the right people around us. And what is so neat about technology these days and the abundances of it, especially tech for good, right, is that certain technologies are able to bring people together that are like-minded that would otherwise have been separated. Like, I'm here in London, I'm from the US, you're in Singapore, and here we are talking over Zoom. How cool is that? And because of LinkedIn, we were connected, right? And bringing like-minded people together is paramount now more than ever in order to help people find what they're looking for. Because if you're just walking around your community, you can talk to as many people as possible, but sometimes it takes some time to find out from the man at the grocery store, like when you speak to them and get into those deep conversations and they're like, you should talk to so-and-so. Technology is really bridging the gap for us to be able to find people that are on the same missions as us, people that are doing like-minded missions, nonprofits, communities like HealAthon that's launching next month. Yeah, and
Congratulations.
thank you. And be able to find technologies and through communities. There's honestly the NFT community is that vibe. It's that vibe. It's spiritual, and the metaverse community. more so than people realize. Um, like just the good that people have, the passion. I think if you're going into a job and sitting behind a desk 9 to 5 and not really tapping into that creative energy or liaisoning with like-minded people in a community, there's a lot missing with the interaction. And technology today is allowing people more than ever to come together. And I think COVID facilitated a lot of that too. Like, I'm part of a lot of underground spiritual communities. Truly, they're underground, And how do people even find them unless they're invited into them?
True.
Yeah. So, and there's like people across the globe that would love to talk to each other. And COVID kind of pushed us into that, the lockdown of being like, where are my people? Because I started seeing spirits. Like, I was spiritually attuned before my death and rebirth. But after that, I really came online. But I started to see spirits in the middle of lockdown. And I'm like, who do I speak to about this? Because the average person is going to think I'm crazy. Yeah, who do I speak to about that? And
Yeah, you tapped on the right sentiment here. Not many people will say it out, but actually that's a very lonely journey for a lot of people. And, like, especially in this tech cool world of Gen Z where people are talking about so many things, but sometimes something that they're personally going through is not spoken out. And I think, that's where I think, yeah, the right integration of tech for the right things need to happen, like rightly, as you said. Yeah, I think that's...
It's so important. It's so important because I do go to a lot of tech events. I go to a lot of spiritual events and just like healing events. Like healers are amazing, like sound bowl healing. And it's a different lingo, right? It's a different lingo. It's a lingo of love. It's deep. And I crave those deep conversations. Like, at some of the tech events and stuff, they're surface level, and I can only stay for so long because I come there using the conversation with love and like, I think, it's like the more you get to know yourself, the more that you do either trigger people with these conversations or people feel so relieved. Thank you for talking to me about this stuff. Like, I don't have these conversations with other people. I zoom right into people's souls. And I'm like, tell me everything. Not everybody does that, but I know like how important it is. It's so important. So
yeah, I think I can totally resonate with that right now as you speak. Because see, right now in this, I'm pretty sure like majority of the audiences will be watching this would be a lot of tech people who come from different walks of life. But the main part of technology to work for humans is humanizing that technology. Otherwise, the technology wouldn't really speak to humans or cannot be used by humans if it's not well thought of. And I think that brings to the next question about how do you see the humanizing happening? Because like you nicely said that, when you go to these communities, the two reactions, and how are you seeing that, the acceptance towards shaping of, technologies in a very humanized form for well-being and for love, as you said, and for happiness and good health.
So it goes either way, which is interesting. So it's amazing how well received it is amongst the Web3 community specifically, maybe less so in fintech, but more so in like, like other entrepreneurs and tech startups that also have tech for good. And it's really like, it's not a 50-50 thing, right? But half the people are so well receptive, or they see me show up like I have an MBA, but it's like I show up with all this love and light, and I'm like, tell me everything, and it's amazing how it does break down the walls of like from your head to your heart, right? And how well received it really is. There are people that will be like, how do you commercialize this? If I invest, what's my exit strategy? And I'm like, you're not my people.
Reject.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Eject,
rejected.
eject. I gotta go. Um,
Yeah.
because I respect that too. I'm all about that. Money is abundance. Money is energy too, you know? And it's an electromagnetic thing. So actually people that are highly attuned with themselves and energy and the laws of the universe, of the sixth dimension, and good at making money are actually really in tune with the sixth dimension of existence, which I don't know if they know that, but that's a fun fact. But it's amazing to see how many people are really just in tune with like the love behind it, and that's what attracts them. And yeah, I mean, a really wise guru once said to me, the longest 18 inches are from your head to your heart. So if we can align our head to our heart, magical things happen, and magical things happen amongst community too. I mean, the inspiration that I get from other people in the tech community is so profound, and the elevation of the whole scenario. And so I did get downloads at, off topic, but at Miami NFT last year. And the spirits basically said to me, the Web3 community specifically is here for a reason. You're just not all seeing it yet. And I think it has to do with the consumerism, which kind of goes back to what you were speaking of. I'm good at going off topic, but consumerizing things versus allowing it to have that human feeling to it, right?
True.
Is a big difference. Yeah.
I think
Because
that is
at the end of
important.
the
Yeah.
it's so important, you know. It goes like, you know, it's a big difference between just checking the boxes or really enjoying the experience. And yeah, they basically said to me that we're here for a bigger purpose. We're just not seeing it yet. And I thought that was pretty cool. When I hear things like that, I don't ask further questions. I'm like, thank you for telling me. And I think it is to help elevate the world, to inspire people. Because energy can't be destroyed, it can only be moved
Yes.
around. So I love being around people with high energy, and the creative energy is actually very feminine energy. And right now, as the whole world moves into Aquarius, the age of the Aquarius, they've been talking about it, right? And Mama Gaia, Earth is actually leveling up to a very healing Earth versus like from the head to the heart. And everybody's going through kind of these spiritual upgrades globally, like humanly, and it's a little bit uncomfortable as we sink into this new frequency because the Earth frequency is changing right now. Science proves it, and yeah, I think that we're all like leaning into this, and we're all kind of like upgrading our DNA, if you want to say that, you know?
That's
And
beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's all like
yeah,
the way you're saying it as well. I think it's very new for a lot of people to hear it from this perspective as well. And I think one of the important things is becoming self-aware. And I think this helps to become more self-aware as well of the changes of
yes,
how we make decisions now might have been very different from the stages before. And I think how we develop technology now might be a lot different than, how it was built in the last era as well. So I think
yeah,
that is also shaping with this. So it's really beautiful for the tech community to hear something very different. And usually we're surrounded with algorithms and we talk about how much of the accuracy, do you have the right data or not? And to have the right data, you need to be aware. You need to make sure data is bias free, or to have that design of your mind to come in and, to really shape it up nicely. So I think it's really
yeah.
refreshing to hear a very different angle of how humanizing technology has to happen. So I think that's
Yeah, because it's you can't really quantify what's happening, right? Like this is like literally a human experience that we're having. Of course, we could come out with analytics and statistics of if it's helping the masses and whatnot, different communities and different platforms and whatnot. But truly, like this is a very human experience that everybody's having and a very exciting time. And it's going to be a different perspective, but it's so important for people to hear. It's okay if you're going through a tough time right now. Most people just aren't talking about it, you know? Because as we're elevating, escalating, we're going to feel it. But also when we go through these low lows, a lot of people have been like committing suicide or like, like more so than ever right now. And it's like, if you can just hang on for dear life, things are going to get really good after that because we have to feel these lows to feel those high highs. And there is support out there. Just keep talking about it. Keep talking about it. Some people might have like that old school mentality that, it's, you cannot show any weakness. You have to be strong, but like you can be weak, cry. Crying's good. Heal your soul, cleanse your soul. Yeah. And and then there's people that are there for you.
That's true. I think the liberty to express your emotions and then being able to articulate it and then drive towards action is, I think, something that communities can help. Absolutely. And I think
big time
communities, as you said, like localization to globalization, you can connect to anyone in this world. And I think I'm proud to be a technologist that way because technology has absolutely connected everyone, a lot closely. And it's beautiful to see how the technology community is evolving to make it more human. And thanks to the, I think inputs that you shared here as well. So I think we come to the last fun segment of the show. So it's called Would You Rather? So you have to choose between the options and tell us, what would you prefer, basically. So question number one. The first one is, are you a workout indoors person or an outdoors person?
Outdoors.
Outdoors adventures.
Yeah, like I love going hiking or skiing or just walking my dog is so great. It really helps me to talk to people because I can sit behind the computer all day. So it's nice to even just go for a walk, Yeah.
That's
definitely
true.
Outdoors.
I think running outside any day over the treadmill for sure. I think it feels robotic and I think humanizing again is important there and nature helps there as well.
Oh, it does. Nature is so good.
True. Yeah. And I think one more question connected to that is, would you wish to travel through metaverses or airplanes or both?
Can I say both?
By my team, so I'm also reading through and sharing.
So I love the metaverse. A lot of the newer metaverses are incredible. Like some of them are really they're beautiful, and the technology behind that and some of the innovation that Healerverse is even working on for people to go places that they've never been able to go before, spiritual places, is so incredible. So I love the metaverse, and new technology is exciting. It always has been. And I love airplanes too. I love airplanes too because it's amazing to be able to hop on a plane, be somewhere new cultures, new people to learn from and spread love to, and then new ideas for new technology when I'm traveling on the airplane too.
To recreate experiences digitally, I think, going there and then bringing them to a large number of people would be beautiful to metaverse.
Absolutely. There's nothing like meeting new people when you travel on an airplane, but on the metaverse, you can be whoever you want and enjoy experiences in an instant instead of hopping on a plane. So both is the final answer.
Both, and that to a green way that way, so the right balance as well. So yeah, I think that's no. And I think one more question is a dance class or a jungle adventure inside a metaverse.
Ooh, a dance class. Yeah, definitely. Because it's so important to move your body.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's the energy. I mean, for me it works. It'll like breaks me out from the morning, I think buzz if you've had a late night, and it just lets you become alive again. So I think that definitely, I resonate with that. And the last
I had a dance off. Oh no, I had a dance off before I hopped on here with you to get my self going and ready to speak to you.
I'm going to do that after this because I think you've totally pumped up amazing energy here on the call. So
It's
I
good.
think
It wakes up all the cells, the chakras, everything. Yep.
that's true.
Yeah.
And we come to the last question, that is gamifying holistic living or keeping it traditional.
Gamifying? Yeah. I have to say, gamifying is amazing. So obviously there's nothing like the hands-on experience of holistic living, but there's so much that you can do in the metaverse actually. Like you
Yeah.
can even do Reiki on an avatar and it will send the energy to you physically. And I think that there's going to be so many new innovations with gamifying and games and holistic practices and spiritual practices that we're going to see soon. And I'm excited for that. I'm so excited for that. Whether it's with Healerverse or another company, there's room for everyone to come up with amazing games. So I'm super excited to see what comes out, even within the next year. Yeah,
That's true.
gamifying.
Gen Z, if you all are watching this, think about the ways to gamify, I think, different practices as well, because the traditional ones need to be, coming through every generation as well. And sometimes that information is
Absolutely.
far away sometimes and it doesn't connect.
Yes.
And that's the bridge that gamifying could do. So yeah, we live in
Yeah.
exciting times that way. I think I totally agree.
Yeah.
With
And we have
this.
to learn from the traditional healers in order to implement it into gamifying because how else are we going to find out about the practices?
Yeah.
It's like the old school healers that know best from practicing for years.
That's true. And it's a responsibility to do that rightly as well, responsibly as
Yeah.
well. So, but yeah, we
Well
do live
said,
in
sister.
exciting times that way too. I think very
Yeah.
much.
It's really bringing things to people that would have never had the opportunity to know about things, to experience things, and now they'll be able to have it at their fingertips. It's incredible.
It's true. And that's the energy, I think. Amazing energy in this call. And I think the areas that we connected on as well. And I
Thank
think I'm
you.
truly grateful for you to, since you shared so many amazing parts of your life to the actions that, I think people can take from this, session as well. So really pleasure to have you, Trish, and
Thank you
look
so
forward
much
to
for
all the
having me. Yeah, this was amazing. Thank you so much, and thank you for such a good time this morning.
pleasure. Thank you. Cheers. Have a nice day.
You too.